Jason from Paper Gains. Just wanted to do a quick video on how to use trade alerts. So really quick, on the screen I have an old alert that we sent for Facebook. So first things first, how do you know it's Facebook? Well, this first bar tells you what we're trading on the left and what the actual trade structure is on the right. The next piece is time frame. Time frame is actually how long we believe the logic for this trade is going to be valid. So if you wanted to open the trade after we've posted it, as long as it's within this time frame, that's fine. It's also how long we believe that it should take to get to our profit targets. But for the most part, just keep in mind this time frame is really how long the logic for the trade is going to be valid. From there we have entry zone. So entry zone is the price that we paid to open this option position. That's going to be the first number that you see. If it's a debit, it's going to look like this. If it's a credit, we'll probably say a credit in the parentheses. On this trade and a lot of the trades, we have a price per share. So this is for people that don't trade options, and there's a lot in the group. But if you don't trade options but you want to follow along with the alerts, well, we try to make it as friendly as possible, and you can absolutely do that. So this is what we have here. So you would enter at $2.50 a share, and then you'll follow the profit targets from here. But if you don't trade options, but you still want to kind of swing trade, these alerts are built so that you can also do that. The next part is risk. This trade was a medium risk trade, but we have 3 different categories. So we classify these by 2 things. One is the probability of the trade being profitable, and 2 is the risk reward ratio. So how much am I risking versus how much can I make on this trade? The next part is targets, and this is the most important part of this entire alert. But the biggest thing to note here is that once you've entered the trade, you immediately set profit taking orders at these targets. So these are general targets, but the most important part is that you have these orders sitting there waiting just in case the chart wicks up. You want to be able to have these orders sitting there so that they can take profits for you. More often than not, stocks will just kind of jump up really quick, and if you're not watching it, you won't be able to sell in time, but you absolutely want to have an order sitting there so that it's working for you. The other part is, position sizing. So generally speaking, we say don't put more than 10% into option trades in general, and definitely don't put more than 10% of an account into a single trade ever. But this trade is clearly built for more than one order, and we call them lots. So this is actually built for a 5-lot order, meaning you enter 5 transactions at once, and you have 4 profit-taking orders immediately set. The 5th one, we would call a runner. So we are taking profits significantly before the max profit of this trade structure is going to hit. But that's how we want to have it. But long story short, this is built for 5, but if you don't have enough to put 5 contracts in, that's totally fine. If you want to do a 1-lot, totally cool. Take profits at target 1. If you want to do a 2-lot, well, you can take profits somewhere in between target 1 and 2, and then close the rest of the position out at target somewhere between target 3 and 4. But always have an exit strategy planned before you enter the trade. These are our guidelines where we're planning to take profit. Sometimes we get there, sometimes we don't. But that's how position sizing works on the alerts. The other thing is, as we hit targets, so let's say the trade goes up and we're at profit target 2. Well, you don't want to lose the rest of your money. So we would say, okay, well, don't let it drop below target 1, if that makes sense. If it goes up to profit target 4 and you still have a couple contracts on, that's fine. You don't want it to go below profit target 3. Maybe you let it slide down to profit target 2, but you don't want it to go down too far. Once you start hitting the targets, you want to keep an eye on the position, and even though it's profitable and even though it might be quote unquote house money, well, it's still your money. You don't want to lose any more than you have to. So let it run as long as you can, but don't get too greedy and keep it on too long. On the right, we have a stop, and that's not an order that we recommend putting on immediately. That's a level where if the stock were to trade below this point, then the logic for the trade alert itself is essentially wrong. So do I want a stop order sitting there to close my trade out if it wicks down to that level? No, I definitely don't, because more often than not, it will bounce off of that level. So I don't want something sitting there to make sure the trade gets taken off. I do want something sitting there to make sure the trade takes profit, but I don't want something sitting there to lock in any losses, if that makes sense. At the very bottom is the note section, and I mentioned logic a couple times, but this is where we spell out the logic that we used to create the alert. So whether it's a trade based on technical analysis, or maybe there's a fundamental reason, maybe there's a volatility event that we're leveraging to put the odds on our side, we spell all of that out in the note section. After that, there's always a little line that reiterates what the trade structure was. That's really just in case the top bar was a little confusing. So that's how to use our trade alerts. I hope that helped a lot of people. The template was really built in a way to help you become a better trader. So things like having profit targets in mind before you open a trade, always something you want to do. Having a level where you've decided before you enter the trade, you will close the trade, always something you want to do. Having some sound logic behind the trade, you always want to have a story, you want to have a hypothesis of why you're thinking something or other is going to happen. But if you're not doing those things, following at least this trade alert template, that's going to teach you how to build those habits and help you become a better trader.